Shalom. This week's parsha is Sedra Devarim. If you only had one message to say before you passed away, what would it be? What would you say? Imagine if you weren't just you, but you were the leader of an entire nation who looked to you for moral, religious, and political guidance. The pressure to make your last message impactful would be enormous. That's how Moshe felt in this week's Torah portion. The book of Devarim is the transcript of Moshe's last address to the people. In his last speech, God recorded that Moshe clarified the Torah. This is an opaque term that doesn't really key us in to what Moshe was trying to accomplish in his last speech. Our scholars offer three explanations to help us understand what Moshe was trying to accomplish in his talk. In his commentary to this verse, Rashi offers an idea that itself requires explanation. Rashi wrote, clarifying the Torah meant that Moshe taught the Torah in the 70 known languages at the time. This clarification, according to Rashi, wasn't a clarification as much as a translation. Why did Rashi think that a translation qualifies as an explanation? In his commentary, the Chizkuni explained that Moshe expounded all the commandments in the Torah, including the 10 commandments that the people had heard from God directly. Hashem wished that this new generation, which had been born after the revelation at Har Sinai, should hear the 10 commandments at least from the mouth of Moshe. Like Rashi's idea, it's difficult to understand how a repetition of the Torah can qualify as an explanation. Lastly, the Sforno related that Moshe's explanation included three different topics. First, seeing that he himself had already given up the hope of personally crossing the Jordan River, Moshe began to explain the parts of the Torah concerning which he thought some doubts could arise after his death. He also reviewed specific portions of the Torah and explained the reason for the review was that they were about to cross into the homeland where many commandments of the Torah, the mitzvot that are dependent on the land, would apply for the first time. Seeing that he could not do this at a time when they actually applied, he reviewed them before his death. Lastly, Moshe reminded the people that due to his sinful conduct, he was now unable to cross the Jordan with them, and that as a result, he wanted to make sure that they would not again become guilty of such sinful behavior. An explanation is usually meant to make something previously difficult to understand and make it understood. An explanation can be more than just overcoming ignorance. An explanation offers an overarching lesson about the topic. It can place into context or show its relevance to the future generation. An explanation allows the student or audience to relate to the topic and find it relevant to their lives. An explanation offers connection. According to Rashi, Moshe translated the Torah so that non-Hebrew speakers could connect to the Torah. According to the Chizkuni, Moshe saw that because the next generation hadn't heard the Torah from Moshe himself, they felt they were missing out. To connect them to the Torah, Moshe taught the Torah to them personally. The Sforno knew that the people would soon forget difficult topics and disconnect from them. Coupled with new laws they had never been exposed to, they needed Moshe to walk them through the mitzvot of the land. Lastly, Moshe wanted them to be wary of the actions that could disconnect them from the Torah, the sins that had caused their parents' generation to be forbidden from entering the land. In one way or another, no matter what our profession, we are all teachers. A parent teaches their child, an employer teaches their employees, and a friend explains things to their friends. It's important to recognize that an explanation has to be more than just imparting knowledge. It is connecting one's audience to the subject matter. Knowledge is empty without connection, but knowledge that builds connections has the potential to be eternal. Moshe chose to make his last message one that would connect the next generation of the Jewish people to the Torah. Connecting the Jewish people to the Torah was what Moshe stood for his entire life. We, both professional and lay teachers alike, should strive to emulate his example and connect the next generation of the Jewish people to our rich traditions and to the Torah. Shabbat Shalom.